Hi, this is Jagx with the US stock highlights here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 15th of December. Starting off with Bcda, where there's been a nice technical event here with the break of the resistance line there, falling line there from September last year. That was running through around the $5.25 level, and while we're above that on an end of day close basis, hopefully looking towards last year's resistance line projection from the summer there at $9 plus. Obviously the shares have been were much higher at the beginning of last year, so we are very much in recovery mode there after that extended base made since July and the exhaustion gap that we had in June, and sort of stabilizing after that, but at least above that $5.25 area, the upside looks to be on target there for Bcda over the next 4 to 8 weeks. Stock where there's some speculation in the air, if you believe social media, which some people do, some people don't. Here we've got Dropbox, a nice trend line break there, a long one, so that's more credible in terms of the move. Bottom of the gap there around $22.50, and while we hold above that, then we're looking forward to hopefully return to the main resistance on the daily chart from early last year and the end of 2018 at $26 plus, hopefully as soon as the end of January. But end of day close back below $22.50 changes the picture on that situation. Going on to another stock which seems to be in favor at the moment, Infn Corporation. Here you can see that we've had a break through that old August peak, the initial August peak there, around the $8.36 level. While we're above that, looking forward to hopefully an April 2019 resistance line projection. Then it's up to $13 or $13.50 over the next month or two. Any weakness back towards the $9 area currently regarded as a buying opportunity, but obviously if we break back below that and bull trap through the August peak, then that would cancel the setup. So 925, the level to watch out for, at least initially. Going on to a stock which I have covered recently and is back in favor again, Jaguar Health. Here we've got a situation where we broke that line of resistance from August, and there's been a bit of consolidation either side of that, well, sort of on that line in fact, and just above the 50-day moving average at 28 cents, while we hold above the 50-day line, looking for at least a retest of the initial December peak for Jaguar around the 72 cent mark. If you're cautious on the stock, maybe you'd wait for an end of day close above the 200-day moving average, currently at 44 cents. Time frame on the move to the upside, hopefully over the next month or so, especially after any 200-day line break. Encouraging situation today at Contango Oil and Gas. Always nice to see a situation which is relatively early and also relatively clear cut. Here we've got both. We've had this sort of saucer bottom there for the shares with a higher low versus March, which is encouraging, high low above $1, and then the gap today through the 200-day moving average. That's around $1.90. While there's no end of day close back below that, we're looking for hopefully a retest of the best levels of June through $4. In terms of the trajectory, one would assume that this stock is in a trend channel and heading towards that line of resistance at the top of the July channel at $3.50 plus anyway, so that ties in with that early summer peak that we had for the shares. Nice setup there, and moving along to stock which I'm not familiar with at the moment, at least this seems to be a new one, Microvision Washington. Here we've got a rise within a trend channel which has been in place for several months now, back in the summer of last year, so starting off in the beginning of September, and at the top of the channel they're currently heading towards $5. That target valid, especially while we hold above the $3 area, which was resistance in August, and then also going into October. So above $3 up to $5 or so, hopefully by the end of next month, and maybe even before that. Rather famous stock coming up next, NEO, and here it's suppose we're still seeing the shares trying to take up the slack. We had a false move up towards $55 plus at the end of last month. Come back to test the floor of the channel, but higher low versus that floor at $38 at the beginning of the month. So that is encouraging. The latest low at $41, hitting the floor of that rising trend channel from back in June. And above, at least while we're above the 50-day moving average at $38, the bull argument intact here, and looking for $68 to maybe even $70 over the next 2 to 3 months on NEO. Moving along, we have a stock which we have covered before on several occasions, and seems to be something of a favorite. Here we've got a rising trend channel again for Plug Power, consolidating near the highs. We've had a few false moves through the $27, $28 area, so need to see whether this is going to be third time lucky for the stock. But at least while above the recent support area around $25, looking towards $45 on a 2 to 3 month view, which is the top of that channel from June on the Plug Power daily chart. Next contender is one which is looking pretty rosy too, as indeed most pharma and therapeutic stocks do at the moment. Here we've got Prvl Therapeutics just nudging the 200-day moving average at the moment, and also breaking a line of resistance from back in May. That's around the $11.80 level, and while we can hold above the current area, $11.80 down to today's support zone at $10.50, then we should hopefully be able to retest the $15 or $16 area, which was the resistance on the way down over the early part of August. So above $10.50 up to as high as $16 on a 1 to 2 month time frame for Prvl. If you're cautious on the shares, which some people might be, wait for an end of day close through the 200-day moving average. That's currently at $13.18. Just a few stocks to go now in this sweep today. First one coming in the form of the code that I'm about to type out, which is Solid Biosciences. Here we've got beautiful saucer-shaped turnaround here after the gap through the 200-day moving average. A very encouraging looking setup indeed, quite a rare one as well. We gapped up again through after the 200-day gap that we had in September. Everything here hinges really on an end-of-day close through $6.10. While we're above that, looking for the shares to fill the gap down, which we had in November last year. So that's up above $10. So above the early or the late September peak there at $6.10. Looking for a $10 target, hopefully by the end of next month. This stage only really back below today's intraday low and back below $5, really killing the idea of imminent recovery for the shares. Going along to the next situation, second last one today, Gene Therapy. Here we've got a nice, we had the aftermath of an exhaustion gap to the downside and a sub $2, but higher low there than March, so that was a positive. End of day close today above the 200-day moving average, just around the $3.04 area, and we could have a chance at least of retesting resistance on the way down, which was at the $4 level. Obviously, ideally, by the end of next month, we head to $5.50 plus, which was the initial October peak. In terms of the stop loss, I suppose just an end of day close back below the 50-day line, around $2.75 might be enough, and that actually means that we've got a reasonable risk reward on that particular setup for the shares. Finishing off today with Veru, and here we've got a rather spiky maneuver that we've had, a vertical move in recent sessions. I suppose what we do know that is that the top of the gap there at $8.50 should come in as support again on any pullback for the stock, and above that, looking for a what looks like a rather ambitious target, November resistance line projection up to $16, hopefully as soon as the end of next month. This stage only really an end of day close back below $8, really delaying the upside scenario for Veru. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.